Static Shock Episode 1. It's well time a new superhero takes flight. The first episode of Static Shock commences in a warehouse in the outskirts of Dakota. An electronics robbery is taking place at this warehouse. That is when a masked teenager arrives at the scene, flying over a manhole cover and using his electric powers to subdue the robbers. Using his electric and magnetic powers, he strips them of their metal guns and sticks them onto the ceiling, with a sign hanging mid-air to inform the police of the incident. The masked hero stands in admiration of his own handiwork, remarking at how just 2 days ago, he thought of himself as the last individual that he can be called hero material. At a random household one fine morning, 14-year-old Virgil Hawkins prepares for the new school day. While arguing with his sister and her bad cooking, he runs into his father Robert. While in excitement about going to school and asking out his friend and crush Frida to the school homecoming, Sharon, his sister, teases him for saying, "What did she ever do to you?" causing them to resume their bickering. Meanwhile, Roberts leaves for work and Virgil, desperate to avoid his sister's bad cooking, runs off for school. Anxious to ask Frida out, Virgil seeks out his best friend Richie's advice. When Frida arrives, Richie leaves wishing Virgil good luck on his test. Just as he's about to walk over to her, Francis, F-Stop Stone, arrives and makes a move on Frida. When Virgil tries to intercept, Francis threatens to beat him up and is stopped by the former's acquaintance, Wade. Later that day, while leaving school somber at his failure to ask out Frida, Virgil runs into Francis and his gang once again. They beat him up mercilessly. While the young boy lies down, still tolerating it, Wade appears again and threatens the bullies away before forcing Virgil to meet him under the bridge in half an hour, despite the latter's protests. Virgil ends up meeting Wade and his crew. Though he is hesitant about the prospect of confronting an actual gang, Wade asks him to join their crew since it would keep him safe. But the boy is quite unsure, especially considering his family's history with gangs. Once home, he rubs off his bruises as football injuries and shuts himself in his room and avoids his sister's worried questioning. Suddenly, Virgil receives a phone call from an anxious Richie, who is shocked at rumors that he has joined a gang. Virgil refutes these rumors, saying he only gave them a reluctant nod, but Richie questions why he would even consider joining a gang, considering that his own mother was a victim of gang violence. Realizing that he is inserting himself into a dangerous game, Virgil starts thinking of a way out. Just then, he receives a call from Wade, who orders him to come back to the docks immediately. The moment he arrives at the docks, Virgil realizes it's already too late. He's in big trouble. There are metal canisters carrying the label "Danger," and Wade's gang is present with other gangs, including Francis, all whom were getting ready for a fight. Wade hands Virgil a gun, which he throws into the water before attempting to run off. There, he encounters Francis alone. Police helicopters arrive just in time, casting a searchlight and ordering everyone to stay where they are. All the gangsters run away instantly, leaving Virgil alone, hiding behind a dumpster. One of the officers fires tear gas at the site, accidentally hitting one of the canisters and causing it to explode in a huge cloud of purple gas. People around start inhaling the gas and begin coughing aggressively. Some show physical reactions as their faces change while others' eyes begin to glow with purple. Virgil gets up the walls and manages to escape while coughing. The next morning, Virgil wakes up to his bedroom and is glad to have returned. However, when his blanket sticks to him with unbelievable intensity, his happiness turns to horror. When he gets it off him and goes to the bathroom to shave, he notices that the razor has started buzzing just because of his presence. Virgil, horrified but also excited, thinks to himself that this electricity might be coming off him. He hurriedly calls Richie to the auto junkyard, where he shows off his strength by lifting all the cars around the yard. "The gas, Richie, it changed me," he says as he tells his friend how he got these unique abilities. "You could totally be a superhero, dude," replies Richie to a cocky Virgil, who comically crashes into a pile of cars. Later, they go back to Virgil's house, where he tries on a number of different superhero suits before settling on which one Richie calls the winner. Virgil goes back to the warehouse where he drops the burglars from the ceiling and notices that among the electronics are a new batch of lab computers for his school. At the homecoming, Virgil arrives fashionably late, dressed in his uniform, personally delivers all the computers, and introduces himself as Static. Virgil proceeds to put on a show and delivers electronic hearts towards Frida. Meanwhile, at the hospital, the gas is making the rest of the gang members mutate in very unusual ways. Among them is Francis, who burns up and attains pyrokinetic powers, which allow him to leave the building. "This is going to be fun," he says, as he walks back into the city. This episode marks the beginning of a new coming-of-age superhero show that centers on the Black character who faces his own unique set of circumstances, subjected to routine bullying, and with a family history of being on the receiving end of gang violence. We see a very complexly situated character in Virgil, one who wishes to live a normal life, but is now thrust into the world of superpowers that he can use for a higher purpose. Boy, I'm excited for this one. What are your thoughts on this episode? Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next part.